Hey guys, Josh here with RedNeck GreenThumb. Today I'm going to be filming part 3 of Jeremiah's survival guide, which will be the fire making section. I'm going to give you 5 different ways of making a fire when you're in the bush. Also, I'm going to teach you how to build your fire properly. So that's going to consist of your fire starter, your kindling, and your firewood. So let's just get to it. Come on, Mill, let's go. So first things first, you're going to want to find some nice dry grass. Collect as much as you can. You can use dry grass, you can use birch bark, you can use pine pitch, you can use a whole bunch of stuff, something that's going to light up real easily. So we're just going to sit and collect a whole big handful of grass. Come on, Mill. Okay, well that's step 1. Collecting your fire starter. Now let's move on to step 2. Come on. Go, Bell. Step 2, Millie. Step 2 will be collecting a whole bunch of kindling. That'll be stuff that's about the size of a pencil, maybe a little bit bigger, and anything smaller, of course, will work too. But make sure it's nice and dry and collect yourself a whole handful of it. Okay, that's step 2. First, step 1, fire starter. Step 2, kindling. All this small stuff collect. You're probably going to want to collect more than that because if you're getting a big fire going, or you want to keep a fire going, or want to start it again in the morning, you're going to want to collect probably twice that. But for this example, that should be just fine. Now, step 3 is firewood. Okay, so step 3, you want to start collecting big stuff like this, maybe bigger than your wrist. Make sure it's manageable. You're going to want either a hatchet or a good saw to start cutting this up into manageable pieces, and you're going to want to collect a whole lot of it so that you don't run out in the middle of the night. Once you have collected what you think you're going to need, I would say triple it. All right, so if we go back to my what's in my bug out bag video, I'll show you my fire kit. And inside my fire kit, I always have a ferrocerium rod, okay, a striker, so that you can throw some sparks. This will last you a long time, probably a lot longer than any Bic lighter. That goes with the EDC, everyday carry. Always have a lighter. Right now we're gonna use this ferrocerium rod, or the ferro rod. This is another little trick. I always have some cotton balls with petroleum jelly, which is just Vaseline. That catches a spark and it lights up instantly. This stuff is amazing. I always have this in my fire kit. But for now, let's say we don't have that. We're just gonna use our fire starter that we collected. We're gonna break it up, try and collect the driest stuff we can. We're gonna make it into a bird's nest so that it catches our spark. Set it down in the middle there. And instead of throwing the spark, you're gonna wanna pull your ferrocerium rod away, and you're gonna wanna put some pressure on it because you don't wanna just throw little sparks like this. That's not gonna do anything. So actually throw some sparks in it. There we go, a little fire going. Now that it's lighting up, you want to keep it going and start throwing your kindling on top of that. Get your little twigs, throw your kindling on there. And once your kindling starts to go, once your kindling starts to light up, then you can start throwing on your bigger sticks. Feed a little bit of oxygen. Like I said, all the pencil size stuff, little stuff, get it on there. It's gonna light up a lot faster. There we go. Now we got our kindling starting to light up. Once our kindling starts to light up, then we can start throwing bigger stuff on. All right, here's method number 2. This is called the fire roll. And it just consists of cotton and wood ash. So I got this out of the fireplace. Or I guess I could have used the ashes out of here if they weren't soaking wet, but these are just makeup pads that my wife has because I'm out of cotton balls. So I'll just try using these instead. So you take the cotton, you put it down like that, you sprinkle some ashes on top, and you roll it up tight. Like that. Now we'll give it a couple rolls here. This is just a 2x4 and a piece of plywood. You can use a like a hatchet to flatten out some pieces of wood. I'm just gonna roll this a couple times to get it in the roll that we want. Now I'm just gonna go back and forth until I see smoke start. Now it's starting to smoke. That actually worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. Get our bird's nest ready. There. Now I just created an ash, or an ember. I'm gonna take and place that inside the bird's nest and just try and blow it into a flame. Don't blow too hard or else you'll blow it out. There we go. We have ignition. There we go, guys. So that is the fire roll by using cotton and ash. The third method I would like to show you is called solar ignition. I'll be using a magnifying glass, but if you're lost in the woods, you can use a pair of binoculars or a rifle scope. Solar ignition is just using the power of the sun to light your fire. Just have to focus the beam with your magnifying glass. There we go. Solar ignition. It only took half an hour, but we finally got solar ignition. There's fire from the sun. Alright, so method number 4 is going to be the bow drill. This is fired by friction. You're going to need 4 parts to this. You're going to need a spindle, the bow, a bearing block to push down on the spindle, and a fireboard. I've used this one before, so cut a notch in it here. So what you want to do is you want to use your knife and about 1/2 inch in, you're going to want to drill a little hole like this so that you can get it started. And then before you start your V-notch, you're going to want to take that bow drill and burn yourself in a little hole there. So once you get a burn in, then you can cut your V-notch to about 1/4 of the way into that circle, and then we can try and get a fire going from there. So the bow drill I have, it's about the length of my arm. I cut a notch all the way around and then did a slip knot onto that end, and then I flattened this end out with a little bit of a notch in it so I can run this string in like that, and I can control the tension instead of having to retie it 100 times. Forgive me if this sound quality isn't great, because this is a new camera that I'm trying out. I don't even know what this video is going to turn out to be like. So I have a little tiny piece of wood here that I'm going to put under my notch to catch all my dust and my ember. And then once I get a big enough ember going, I'm going to put it into my bird's nest or my tinder bundle. So let's see how this goes. With your spindle, you're going to want to cut one end round and the other end, as long as you can make it so it has as little friction as possible for the bearing block, because that will make you struggle. Usually you'd cut it to a point, but I have this one glazed over, so it has a lot less friction than this side's going to. As you can see, this side has no glaze to it. So this will be the board side, and this will be the bearing block side. I'm gonna take and put my foot on that. Get this a little bit snug, and then get my spindle wrapped by the bow. Get a little less tension there. There we go. To reduce some friction even further, you can take a little piece of foliage or like a leaf or something and put it in the bearing block, so that there's less friction between the bearing block and the spindle. Once you see smoke, keep going.
Try and see if that it's gonna smoke on its own. Doesn't look like it. So I'm gonna try and get that going again. You don't want too much tension on your bowstring, but you gotta have enough that it's gonna grab the spindle without losing it, or without it sliding on its own. There we go. Alright, let's try this again. Finally got an ember here. So we're going to try and get it to enlarge, and then we're going to put it in our tinder bundle. And then we might have to go outside to blow it into a flame. Yes. Fire by friction. So the next method I want to show you is the lint method, and all you're going to need is something to create a spark, whether that be a dead lighter you find on the beach or a rock that shoots a spark off the spine of your knife. Everybody's going to have lint in their pockets, right down in the corner, and it just so happens there is none in these. So I'll show you how to make your own lint. I wore these pants on purpose so that I can show you. Now, you're definitely going to wreck your pants doing this, but if you need a fire, it'll be worth it. There. There's a great big ball of lint now. Now you're going to take that lint and put it in your tinder bundle here. Take your lighter. I broke this one so that it will not light. And you're just going to want to get the spark to land directly on that lint. Just like so. And there you go. Got yourself a fire.
Here we go. I'll show you why I always carry the cotton balls with petroleum jelly or Vaseline on them. I'll show you how easy these light up. Pull a little bit out, and all it takes is a little spark. There you go. And that's why I carry that, because that makes starting a fire in the woods way easier than it otherwise would be with just grass.